Music Neuron says Naomi is headed for some confusing grief if she gets poisoned. Sheesh, are soap operas usually this murderous? I don't know, because I don't typically watch them, child. I don't know. Are soap operas usually this murderous, y'all? I'm a power head, so I'm used to bodies dropping. I'm perfectly fine with it. But y'all tell me in the comment section down below. Christina W23 says, I'm actually enjoying the fact that Naomi and Jacob are getting a storyline for themselves and their conversations around pregnancy. I agree with you when you said their conversations are healthy. I also think that both of their POVs are valid, and I'm curious to see how they will overcome this. Me too. This is honestly one of the most intriguing storylines thus far for me. Like, I do love the love triangle of it all with Dani, Bill, and Andre. But when it comes to like deep interpersonal conversations and the dialogue from the writers, like, I thoroughly enjoy the Naomi Jacob will they won't they have a baby. But I love watching or getting the privilege to watch people have complex conversations that oftentimes more often than not the people in real life will run from. Yeah, they would run, make a rash decision, but like watching this play out healthily, things being said, and yes, it could be hurtful, but just because something hurts doesn't mean it wasn't healthy to be said, right? I think they're doing a great job. Sandra also said, great job. As we know, ladies in these days are waiting to have families and be up in age, so I side with Naomi. Remember, she can freeze her eggs for a later time. That's part of 2025. I love Andre and Dani, and Pam joining the conversation and wanted Andre to be a model was sweet. Girl, Chelsea came back from her kidnapping with more sense than before the kidnapping. Hello, she definitely did. I am really enjoying Chelsea. Me too. Chelsea, from the kidnapping storyline on, I actually like her, and I did not like her before. Like, I was just like over Chelsea. She felt so like, please. I like Chelsea now for real. Haley is a mess, and with Naomi eating a cupcake that was for Bill was so funny because now Haley with her crazy almost passed out. I was happy when Naomi went to have the blood test, but Ashley is slow, saying it might be a while before results. Naomi didn't ask for DNA test that takes up to 8 weeks. A blood test should have results in 2 or 3 days. I hope Naomi have to go in for more tests. Love June. She is so honest in what she feels, and it makes sense. Oh, you said so much. So the part about Naomi freezing her eggs, I don't think that she's going to do that because she doesn't want to have kids. So even that becoming a part of the conversation, that would just delay the conversation that they're having now. But that is an option for women who ultimately don't know whether they want to have kids or not, or want to have kids but don't want to have them right now. But Naomi is in the other category of like, I don't actually want to have kids. So the conversation that they're having, it will not actually be solved with offering up, okay, freeze your eggs. But I'm glad that you brought that up. The whole Andre modeling is definitely like some lighthearted, sweet stuff. Yes. And again, I agree with you about Chelsea. I am wondering what they're going to do with this whole like Naomi ate part of the cupcake thing. It feels like they're not going to let it go further in reference to like Naomi being poisoned. But I don't know. My fingers are crossed that they go that route because that will help expedite us into the like, okay, we need to be looking at Haley. We need to be revisiting things. And then Naomi, go back to the fact that she lied about the sonogram. You never told your daddy about the sonogram. This would have been a perfect moment when they're talking about the kids. And he's asking if you got a problem with him having kids moving forward. You still didn't reveal that she lied about, or she never wanted to get a sonogram. Why would she do that? I needed to come out. I hope Naomi goes in for more tests too. And yes, Ashley, child, I need you to be on a good foot, baby girl. Naomi shows up, bends over backwards within y'all's friendship. I'm gonna need you to step your behind up and come to your girl's rescue. See some things that she can't see. You got some other information. Ask some more questions. I don't know. Okay, Robin Wrigley 4245 said, my heart goes out to Jacob. I love how Naomi and Jacob are deeply invested in navigating the whole baby conversation. Jacob is truly the kind of man where conversation, insight, understanding, and a healthy relationship, love, consideration, and patience, all qualities missing with a lot of men. Don't get me wrong, there are men out there like that, but you ain't lying. Yes, as couples move through their relationship, things do change along the way. As you said, Erica, Naomi chooses family first and expects Jacob to understand. I get that Naomi doesn't want kids. Will there ever be a time in their marriage that she does? Is this such a delicate and emotional space with so much to impact going forward with Naomi and Jacob? Jacob is going through so much, home, job, and this man so far has not broken. Wanted to treat his wife with a day at the spa, trying to lighten up the situation a bit for Naomi, and she claps back with negative rhetoric. I'm here for Naomi and Jacob and how it plays out. I love some Jacob. Me too, girl. Me too. And the way that some of these people be caping for Tomas and Ted, I'm like, why in the hell aren't y'all using all of your reserves and your support for men and sending that Jacob's way, an actual stand-up, integrous guy's way, a man who has duality within his relationship, who can be there, not just physically, but he is there emotionally, mentally, I would argue spiritually, but we ain't seen that part just yet. And I know we on CBS, so okay. But like, not Ted. Jacob is the one who should be getting the like adoration and the full support, because the man is going through, and I feel for him too. Like, my heart goes out to him as he's navigating these circumstances, or specifically these conversations with Naomi, because they're not easy. It's hard. And yes, Naomi does come off rough sometimes. She does come off very raw. But I am like slow to criticize her on that, because I recognize the very real visceral emotions that are tied to her circumstance that she's in, and the emotions of like anger, frustration, and fear. Like, I feel like Naomi is not just making a decision, oh, I don't want to have kids because I decided I don't want to have kids. I think that she's also scared to, definitely afraid to, and that pulls something out of you when you're communicating from a place of like deep fear. And I'm saying that I'm trying to be less critical of her in this moment, because I want to create space for women to be able to do that. Not to say that, you know, she can drag it all the way to hell and do a bunch of wild stuff, but she is taking the space that Jacob has created to communicate how she feels, the way that she feels, so she's not being tone police in this moment, and he can get the most accurate and honest version of what she feels and how she sees the circumstance, and then he can deal with it accordingly. So again, like I said, yes, some of the stuff that she says has a little bite to it, has a little to it, but I don't think that they have crossed the line. I don't think that she's been disrespectful. I think that it's just not the easiest thing to hear, and it's very direct. And I think that there has to be space for women to show up that way, because when men do it, it's just them being leaders. It's just them being dominant. It's just them being them. But women have the similar emotions and just as much range. So this is one of the things that like really solidify my respect for Jacob, because he is not taking it personally, and he creates a safe space for her to get it out how she can get it out, as long as it's not disrespectful. Like, she is just getting it out, and he's going to process and deal with it. And sometimes that's what we need. We're not going to always be able to say what we need to say, what we feel called to say, what we feel like it's bubbling up and just like, I got to get it out. We're not going to be able to say that in the most proper or politically correct way. We can only say it how we say it, and it takes a person who deeply loves you and who is listening to understand you, not listening to respond, to be able to navigate that. And when Jacob is in that place, I think that Naomi will be able to offer him the same thing. So I don't think it just should be, one way versus it being a two-way street. Thank you so much for this comment, Robin. I agree with you so much. I think that things do change along the way. From what it sounds like, Naomi don't want kids now, and she ain't gonna want them in the future. But I feel like she won't know that until later. She didn't go as far as like tying her tubes. She didn't go as far as like any type of permanent irreversible procedure that would prevent her from having kids. So it just kind of, for me, it just kind of is what it is in that regard. But I thank you so much for your comment. Curly K919, hey boo, haven't seen you in the comments in a minute. How are you, honey? Curly says, I like Naomi and Jacob together and I see both sides. I'm interested to see how the story plays out. I do think that once she has the blood test and her eating that cupcake, something will be revealed. I'm hoping so. I am hoping so, child. It is an easy writing choice, easy layup. Easy layup. Katrisa Vibes says, love your reviews. Thank you, boo. I can see both sides of Naomi and Jacob, and I think I side with Jacob mainly because he's coming from a family, us together perspective, and Naomi is coming from a me, I, my perspective. Not saying a person should no longer have individuality in a relationship, but a marriage signifies a union, and that means making decisions for us. Her feelings are valid, but his are too. Yes, and that's what, Katrisa, you're so right. That's what makes this so complicated but so good, because neither one of them are wrong. Like, she is entitled to all of the feelings that she has, and he is entitled to the feelings that he has. And the good stuff, as I would say, is like how they're going to figure out where they settle on these two opposite ends of the spectrum. I do think that she's operating like a me, which is why when I talked about this in my breakdown, I was like, girl, you're going to have to bring it in more. And maybe bringing it in more is not you necessarily having a baby, but you committing to it being you and Jacob before you and the Duprees. That already right there would, I think, be a shift. Giving more of yourself to your husband. Not to say that you can replace a baby, but clearly there is a need there, right? He's feeling a certain lack. Well, not necessarily a lack. I'm gonna stick with need. There's a need there for familial feelings for him. And we're, not far out from his back and forth with his father. We ain't even seen him interact with his father, his hero, the man that he looks up to, ever since that complicated ass conversation, right? He has a need for familial feelings, familial vibes, and he thinks that a baby will help him get that. You're saying no to the baby, so how are you going to help him get that? His need don't disappear because you don't want to satisfy the need with what is right there. If you don't want to satisfy the need with this, then you need to find a way to satisfy the need with something else. That to me is what compromise looks like within the relationship. And what I said in my breakdown of, like, to Jacob's point, if he agrees to, like, aborting this baby, he does so with some type of expectation. He would be right to have some type of expectation in reference to how they're going to bridge the gap so that they can go from being here to being here. Thank you so much, boo, for your comment. Gemini P1525 said, I like that Naomi and Jacob are having this conversation because it's not often discussed. She doesn't want a baby. Should she be crucified for it? No, but most will. It's not right, but because of societal norms, it is what is expected of you after marriage. I like that she is taking a stance saying, no, this is not what I want, but I have a feeling she's going to change her mind at the last minute, maybe. You know what? I feel like that too. I don't know if they're going to commit to, like, letting her shut this down and going the distance and what that would look like. Like, I personally would not be mad at the character for doing that, for making that decision and going through with that procedure. But I don't know if CBS is that committed to it, boo. But everything that you said, thank you so much for your comment. That piggybacks on what we have been talking about. So yes, thank you, Gemini. Y'all, this is a little thread that was popping off. I love when y'all get to going back and forth in the comment section and having a whole little conversation. So Audrey Edwards 96 started it and said, my thing with Naomi is people want her to have this baby for Jacob, and that's a no-no for me. Naomi shouldn't have a baby for any other reason than she wants one. People need to understand, even though she is a married woman, that doesn't always equate to wanting to be a mother. There are plenty of happily married couples that don't want kids. There are plenty of married women who don't want kids. Nothing is wrong with that. Child. And then Aubrey James came and said, well, then Jacob needs to leave her. Y'all want Jacob to leave Naomi? Y'all want Jacob to leave Naomi, y'all? You think that this, because she don't want to have kids, is worth him leaving? And then Freddie said, which will lead to discord in their marriage. And then Julia said, all I know is sis is reckless and irresponsible and needs to make sure this never happens again. Shaking my head, just crazy. She's reckless and irresponsible? Y'all, my flabbers are gasped. Cause what? Y'all want Jacob to leave Naomi if she won't have this baby? Like, for real? For real? This is a conversation. Safe space for conversation. If you really feel that in the comment section, please tell me, and tell me why you feel that way. Damn. Leave her? Let me think. I get married. And at first I don't want kids. And then I do want kids. And my husband don't want to have kids. But see, I guess it's different because I'm the woman and I actually have the power. Leave her? I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling with Jacob should leave her for it. I'm really struggling with that, y'all. I'm trying to let it percolate. Julia, you talking about she need to make sure this never happens again? People slip up when they want to peel. I just need y'all's thoughts. I wanted to read those comments because I need y'all's thoughts. I think Audrey, you made valid points. There are plenty of married women who don't want kids, especially today. I'm seeing so much more child-free, childless content, dual income, no kids content. The people out here living their best life with no damn kids. So yes, more people are like doing it regardless of if it's socially acceptable or not. And she should not have a kid simply because Jacob wants one if she doesn't want one. Mothers, women who become mothers who don't actually want to be mothers traumatize their kids. The kid is better off not being here than being here destined and guaranteed mother wounds and childhood trauma. Here. That's just my thought on that. But I need to unpack the whole Jacob should leave her comment. Jacob should leave her? Lord. All right, y'all. Those are just some of my responses to some of the things in the comments. Because, in the comments, y'all be tripping. In the comments, y'all be dropping gems. In the comments, y'all be making a little bit of sense. And in the comments, y'all be going a little crazy. Thank you so much for posting a comment. Again, this might be your sign to start posting comments because next time I might be responding to you. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for checking out all my Beyond the Gates content. Be on the lookout for another new video dropping tomorrow. Turn the bell notifications on, and I'll see y'all in the next one.